NFL free agency is set to kick off in just a couple of weeks, so coming up on today's show, we're going to take a look at the latest Steelers rumors. But first, later on this week, we want to do a mailbag to involve you in all of our shows and answer all of your questions. How do you get involved? First of all, you have to be subscribed, but also use the hashtag Steelers in the comment section and give us some questions so that we can answer them on this upcoming mailbag. And with that, let's start today's show. You're watching Pittsburgh Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Sr. Hope everybody as part of the fan base had a fantastic weekend. Really good show coming up on tap for you today as we dive into the latest Steelers rumors. They could be in the mix on a lot of the key free agents out there once NFL free agency starts up in a couple of weeks. And the biggest storyline with the Steelers going into the offseason, what are they going to do at quarterback following the retirement of Ben Roethlisberger? Kevin Colbert saying the other day, look, we're going to move forward with Mason Rudolph as our starting quarterback. I just don't buy it. I don't think there's any way that the Steelers are actually going to start Mason Rudolph at quarterback. So if that's not the case, could they go to an option like Teddy Bridgewater? Steelers listed as a possible destination for Teddy B as he's set to hit free agency. Could be brought in to compete with Mason Rudolph as well as Dwayne Haskins, who also ain't it. And the Steelers could go this route if they don't draft a good quarterback in the first round like Kenny Pickett from Pitt, or trade for a quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, of course, Ryan Shazier has made his feelings be known that he thinks a quarterback like Jimmy G would be a good option for Pittsburgh. I happen to agree. When Jimmy Garoppolo is surrounded by nice pieces, good running game, he has it. Good wide receivers, Steelers have it. Good defense and coaching, Jimmy Garoppolo can help you win a lot of games. So the formula for success is there for a good quarterback to come in and really play well. I'd put Teddy Bridgewater in that category after Jimmy Garoppolo, but it's really close between those two players. Teddy B wasn't teaming up with Kyle Shanahan. Jimmy Garoppolo had the advantage of that, but I'll tell you this. If it's Teddy Bridgewater, if it's Jimmy Garoppolo, they are better options than the current quarterbacks on this roster. I cannot take it seriously when the front office says, yeah, we're comfortable moving ahead with Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins. Mike Tomlin, way too brilliant of a head coach to realize and think that one of these two quarterback options is going to help you compete in an AFC North where the Cincinnati Bengals just made it to the Super Bowl. The Baltimore Ravens are always in the thick of the AFC race. The Cleveland Browns are expected to rebound. And you, as the Pittsburgh Steelers, you compete year in, year out for playoff spots. Yes, you have a good defense, good other complementary pieces on this roster, but Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins, they're not going to lead you to the promised land. Now, as for what Mike Tomlin had to say about the two quarterback options on the roster, in addition to Josh Dobbs, who's been putting in some good work this offseason and last offseason with renowned quarterback guru Quincy Avery, Tomlin saying, quote, they'll be given an opportunity to establish themselves, and there's going to be competition. There always is. And so they'll write that story. But I think that both those guys have positioned themselves to fight that fight with what they've done from a work standpoint and a professional standpoint in 2021. The Steelers are going to have competition unless they trade, unless they make a trade. So it's going to be Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins at a quarterback competition. And for Mike Tomlin to say they've done the necessary things to battle it out. What has Rudolph done other than getting that fight with Myles Garrett? What has Dwayne Haskins done other than use his phone in pregame warmups and then pose for selfies while with the Washington football team at the time when he was asked to come back on the field? Like, when you watch Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins, to me, when you turn on the tape, they have done nothing to solidify themselves as a starting quarterback of one of the preeminent and most successful franchises in the National Football League. So I'm not going to buy it, even though Mike Tomlin and Kevin Colbert are going to say what they have to say about the quarterback position moving forward. Draft a guy or trade for one. You have the necessary resources to do both of those avenues. Your confidence level, though, that the Steelers will have a top 15 quarterback in 2022. They got to trade or bring somebody in free agency in order to do that, in my opinion. But let me know. Scale it for me from 1 to 10. It's going to be the pinned comment on today's video. Say if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, just scroll on down and get your votes in. Now, at the cornerback position, that's where things start to get really interesting. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a couple of guys who are set to hit the free agency market, led by Joe Hayden. J.C. Jackson is the best cornerback who is set to be available in NFL free agency. The deal here is, though, he's going to get a big deal worth a lot of money. He wants around $100 million. Pittsburgh has always been financially responsible as an organization. That's why they compete year in, year out, and don't have to deal with salary cap problems. But when you look at elite players, it's hard to turn down, and it's hard to ignore what J.C. Jackson has been able to do. Cornerback is going to be a need for this team. They already have a good pass rush led by T.J. Watt, good linebacking core. Jackson, he's the number one cornerback set to hit the open market, was a great player this past year and a great developmental story after just being overlooked coming out of the college ranks, and he's proven to be one of the best cornerbacks in the National Football League. But as I talked about, Joe Hayden set to be a free agent. Yes, he's older. He can still play, though. Ahkello Witherspoon, very good pickup in NFL free agency. He, too, after signing that short-term deal, going to hit the free agency market. And then Cameron Sutton as a nickel cornerback, not that bad. Now, if you let go of Joe Hayden, maybe even Witherspoon as well, opens up an avenue in which you can pay J.C. Jackson and bring in another player. I don't know, maybe like a reunion with a guy like Steven Nelson, because he's only going to demand about $3-4 million per year, in my opinion. Then you're in a good spot, especially considering that pass rush. But J.C. Jackson going to demand a lot of cash. We'll see if Pittsburgh is willing to fork that over, because there will be a lot of teams in on J.C. Jackson because he's a game breaker and a game changer at that cornerback spot. You be the GM next. Yeah, there's set to be an opening here soon as the Steelers continue to interview candidates. Do you think the Steelers need to add a cornerback this offseason? If so, hit that thumbs up icon right below, like the video, and tell us that you think the Steelers need a corner. I'm going to tell you about this deal thanks to our friends at Fanatics. This Steelers shirt and hat combo, 25% off right now if you go to chatsports.com/Steelers combo. I'm going to put that link in the comment section as well as the description of this video. The material on the Steel City football shirt, it's elite. So too is the hat. Show off your squad. Show off your colors by rocking this t-shirt hat combo by plugging in that link down below. You have to use that link to get 25% off right now. Outside of J.C. Jackson, who else and who are the other top flight cornerbacks going to hit the free agency market? J.C. Jackson at number one. Stephon Gilmore, very good, even though he's in his early 30s. I happen to really like Carlton Davis because I don't think he's going to be as expensive as a Gilmore or J.C. Jackson, and he can really ball out. Casey Hayward, pretty solid player, who's a little bit older, and DJ Reed of the Seattle Seahawks, also a good player. So if you don't go the J.C. Jackson route, there are other options who will probably be cheaper than J.C. Jackson. You take a gander at what he was able to do last year, he was terrific. 58 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 8 interceptions. This is really just an extraordinary number. 23 pass breakups for J.C. Jackson here in 2021. That's why he is set to get the bag. The highest paid cornerbacks per year. Is J.C. Jackson going to rival or maybe even overtake Jalen Ramsey, Marshawn Lattimore, Marlon Humphrey, Tre'Davious White, or Darius Slay? Potentially. Is he going to get more than Jalen Ramsey? There could be another team that decides to give J.C. Jackson more money than Jalen Ramsey. It's going to be close. Is he going to overtake Lattimore? I'm not sure. I think Ramsey, Lattimore, Humphrey, they're in that elite class. Then you go to Tre'Davious White and Darius Slay. I do think that J.C. Jackson can get between $16 and $20 million, but it could come down to the bidding services for him for a desperate team that needs cornerback help, and they're just willing to overpay or give J.C. Jackson a lot of bread. Would you want to sign him? Steelers, fans, let me know. I mean, type S for sign, type P for pass. He would immediately improve your football team. But at the same time, in my opinion, when you have as good of a pass rush as Pittsburgh does, I don't pay top dollar to top flight cornerbacks, because if you have a bad front and you're paying a cornerback a lot of money, it doesn't matter, because the quarterback's going to have all day to throw and a receiver will get open at some point. Steelers don't have that problem, but type S for sign, type P for pass, let me know. And if the Steelers make a move, when they make a move in free agency, when there's a news item, a rumors item that comes to the spotlight, we always have you covered here on Pittsburgh Steelers Talk. Subscribe by hitting that red subscribe button down below, because more subs simply equals more videos. Trying to get to 9K subs as soon as possible. Join the family here and hit that red subscribe button to stay in the know with all things Steelers. Another Flores connection in NFL free agency. That's next up on today's show. By the way, really like the addition of Brian Flores as an assistant coach on Mike Tomlin's coaching staff. Very good haul for Tomlin to bring him in. How about Dont'a Hightower, though? Could the Steelers add a veteran linebacker, a guy who Flores knows well, when he coached him with the New England Patriots, and Hightower, still one of the better elite linebackers in the NFL. I'd say top half in the NFL. This past year, 64 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, 0 forced fumbles, 0 fumble recoveries. Was not as active as a game changer as he's been in years past, but maybe that's a good thing for Pittsburgh because they don't have to pay him as much money. You look at their linebacker depth chart, running that 3-4, TJ Watt as an outside linebacker. Joe Shobert is a cut candidate going into this year. Devin Bush is good when he's able to stay healthy, really up and down this past year. Not as good as he was a couple of years ago. And Alex Highsmith playing the outer linebacker role. You bring in Dont'a Hightower into the mix. Can he fill the void, at least give you depth? At the very least, he's going to give you very good depth. And if you bring him in after a down year with the New England Patriots and you pair him up once more with Brian Flores, we've seen so many times, there are countless examples of this, of a coach having familiarity with a player, and because of that, that allows that player to really flourish and succeed and rebound from a down year like Dont'a Hightower had as he continues to get a little bit older. Let's say Pittsburgh, this new general manager, they want to offer Hightower a 1-year deal. A 1-year deal that would be pretty cheap. Would you do it? I'm going to put you in the shoes of the GM, who we don't know yet, and you make the decisions. Great opportunity and experience for you if you want to be a front office executive. Type Y for yes, type N for no. We're going to go back and take a look at all of these answers to see who's right and who's wrong. So do that right now.